as an international student, you're allowed to work 20 hours per week. But students also work full time here in Czech Republic. So you can work 40 hours per week. You can. So what students do, they don't necessarily switch their student visa to a work visa, because once you switch to a work visa, you might have complications if that employer drops you. As you can't switch back to being a student. So most people continue their studies, and then what they do is to get a full-time job and pay tax.
Now let's talk about, I know at the beginning you made mention of just, you've slightly spoken about that of scholarships, but then I want us to briefly talk about it as well. Are there like scholarships in Czech Republic for students?
I think that it depends on, some schools would outrightly tell you that there are no scholarship for any program. You have to pay your tuition in full by yourself. I think schools like Thomas Bata, there is no scholarship. Then there are some programs, because I don't want to say school. There are some programs that they will tell you that if you have good grades as of the time when you applied for the admission, they would consider it to give you like 500 euros discount or 1,000 or discount of your tuition fee. While there are some that will tell you that when you enroll, that's upon becoming a student, you are now in Czech Republic. After your first year and your result is good, you can get your tuition fee for the next year paid for. Then there are some that actually gives you scholarship from even when you applied. You know, they give you scholarship maybe at master's level for different programs, and also at PhD level. So for some universities, there is no payment. You don't pay tuition fee for PhD, and you still get like a stipend. That stipend is what they call a scholarship. So in some places, you would pay tuition fee for PhD, and you will get stipend. So the stipend is what they also call a scholarship. So there are two categories: tuition free plus stipend, or you pay tuition and still get a stipend. Then there are some that for master's program, they give you tuition reduction, or you don't pay tuition at all. Like the schools where I say they pay 500 euros, most of the time 500 euros is I will call it administrative fee. So it's like you're almost not paying for the program. It's because you're paying some amount of money because the program is taught in English language. Administrative fee. So there are scholarship, but I won't say that it's a Czech thing to give scholarship. Not a Czech thing like you have in the US, where you know it's almost like a guarantee you get some kind of funding. In Czech, it's solely at the discretion of the program department. So yeah.
That's good to know. So now, someone is now in Czech Republic. The person has gotten admission, gotten visa, and is now in Czech. Let's talk about expenses. It's very important as well. The average expenses, like that of feeding. Let's talk about that. What can we say regarding average expenses for students in
Czech Republic?
Yes.
Living in Czech Republic is not, in my own perspective, it's not it's not expensive. I won't say it's not so expensive. I think it's just basically not expensive. Once you've been able to pay your accommodation fee, because accommodation fee depends on where you are staying in Czech Republic. Like places where you pay 3,300 or 3,500 Czech crowns, which is around 135 to 140, benchmark of 150 euros.
For accommodation.
This is where you pay 12,000 Czech crowns, which is over 400 euros for school dormitory. So if you've gotten your school dormitory sorted out, your cost of living depends on your preference as a person. And because most people, if not all of us, will travel to Czech Republic as students, you can't travel with your spouse. You are going as a single person. So the cost of feeding for one person, it's definitely lower. But things in Czech Republic are not so expensive. So it's like the same price you will get them somewhere else in Europe. But for some reason, maybe it's because of the currency, they don't spend euros. So it makes life more affordable. So in my opinion, if you sort out your accommodation, the rest of your survival, like I would say that there are some weeks where I survive on 10 euros. But because you already have stocked up your apartment before, so
Yeah.
you have a few things and you just need to buy a few things. I can survive on 10 to 20 euros in a week if I'm not eat out. So
Mm-hmm.
you want to drink like beer and stuff, if you're not going to the pub to do that,
Mm-hmm.
you even I think that someone can basically survive on 100 to 200 euros per month
Per
aside
month.
from accommodation payments. So transportation, cost of transportation is not. I think they recently increased it like about this month, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's in all regions in Czech Republic.
Mm-hmm.
In specific
Okay.
regions, I can speak for
Mm-hmm.
my own region because I know it was increased recently, but it's still not high because you can
Mm-hmm.
fill your card up. You can buy a monthly pass or a yearly pass or a quarterly pass. You can plan yourself. So I think that,
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's an advantage they don't spend euros because it makes the
Okay.
cost of living lower. Yeah.
Lower, lower. Okay, okay. Thank you for sharing that. You quickly mentioned that of bringing spouse, and I know people coming from Africa will basically they this is
Mhm.
a thing, this is a question. So let's
Yeah.
quickly talk about that. Is there a way? Is it allowed? Is it possible for people, students moving to Czech, to either bring along their spouses or when they get there to be able to bring their spouse or their family?
Yeah, it's allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Your spouse can join you, not come
Mm-hmm.
with you.
Okay.
So your spouse can join you in Czech Republic
Mm-hmm.
after you enter Czech Republic as a student, and you must have
Mm-hmm.
lived in Czech Republic for at least 15 months, which
Okay.
is about a year and 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And after that 15 months, you can then proceed to apply for family reunification visa. That's where you
Mm-hmm.
can bring your child or children or your wife to Czech Republic. But the flip side is that it's a process that takes quite a number of months. They
Mm.
tell you that it takes about, say, maybe, I think 6 months,
Mhm,
180
mhm,
days, but
mhm,
sometimes it extends beyond that and
mhm,
it still gets denied. That's from the person applying from outside the Czech Republic might still be denied. So there is no guarantee. Your
mhm,
spouse, your children cannot come with you as your dependents when you are applying until you are in Czech Republic. So
mhm,
the rule is that you must have been married, you have your marriage certificate before you
mhm,
came into Czech Republic. Not that you were
mhm,
in, you went to get married and you came back. So the
mhm.
purpose of family unification is to reunite you as a foreigner with your family whom you left in your home country.
Country.
But application process is tricky, and in some cases even when it's successful, um people say you can work, but it depends on the kind of visa you came in with under that
Mhm,
relocation visa. So in most
mhm,
cases legally, like the straightforward way, they'll tell you that you can't work, but
mm.
people go around that differently.
Different.
And for most people, they can switch the visa when they arrive in Czech Republic. I don't know how easy that is because I've not done it. I've not done it before, but yeah, you can't come with your spouse. You can't bring in a dependent later on when you have lived in Czech Republic for quite a number of months, which is the
Mhm,
15 benchmark. Then you can start thinking of bringing your family, and then you can fulfill the family reunification process conveniently, including changing your accommodation. Then you can bring your
mm.
family.
Okay, 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 okay. So this is the part where you're going to talk about jobs because everyone, like most of the people come in, want to know, is it possible for me to work in Czech Republic? So
Okay.
can students work? Are there student jobs? What are the kind of student jobs available in Czech Republic?
Yeah, student can work. You um legally you're allowed to work 20 hours per week as a
Mhm,
student. As an
mhm,
international student, you're allowed to work
mhm,
20 hours per week. But
mhm,
student also work full time here in Czech Republic.
mhm,
So you can work 40 hours per week. You can. So what students do, they don't necessarily switch their student visa to a work visa because once you switch to a work visa, you might have complications if that employer drops you.
mhm,
You
mhm.
can't switch back to being a student.
Students.
So most
Yeah.
people continue their studies, and then
Mhm,
what they do is to get a full-time job and pay
mhm,
tax.
mhm,
So you can
mhm,
pay your tax conveniently from your job, and you can work full-time, or you stick to the 20 hours and you stick to the tax that are um, accrued to students.
accredited.
Most cases, I don't think they do, It's if they do, it's very a minute amount. But once you
No.
start working full time, then you have to pay tax like a full time employee in Czech Republic. So the kind of jobs that are available depends on where you stay in Czech Republic. To be honest, it's not so rosy everywhere for everybody. It's not the
Yeah.
same because you have some remote villages and regions in Czech Republic that are not so dominated by English speakers. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're an English speaker going to Czech Republic, you have to stay in places where you have potential of getting good jobs.
Jobs.
So
Okay.
unless you want to study somewhere else and move around somewhere else. So student work in factories, at restaurants, white collar jobs, student work, white collar jobs, like the proper one, depending on your experience and your CV.
Mm-hmm.
But more student jobs like working in restaurants, in eateries, hotels, food chains,
Okay.
factories like delivery factories like
Yeah.
on
Okay.
the rest of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I think for now, yeah, and some students that know how to drive, some of them do
Mm-hmm.
delivery jobs. But
Mm-hmm.
delivery jobs will require that you have a driving license, so it's advisable
License.
you obtain a driver's license before you come to Czech Republic, so that it's easier for you to obtain 1 year if you want to work with food deliveries that do like use
But.
bikes or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
not bicycle like the motorcycles. So yeah,
Okay.
what type of jobs? Some students also do things like working with insurance company, acting, like just
Mm-hmm.
something big. So the opportunities you would get depends on where you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the students that I've seen doing the acting gigs are those that are in Prague. The Prague is more popular, so if you see movie scenes will definitely be held there more than in
Mm-hmm.
other parts of Czech Republic. So the job depends. If you stay in remote areas where there are not a lot of, where there are not a lot of English speakers, you might likely not get a job on time.
On time. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you would get
Okay.
something basic, and the pay varies from city to city. So the same job,
Okay.
somebody an amount of 200 Czech crowns somewhere per hour would likely
Mm-hmm.
be paid 180, 170 in another area.
Yeah.
In
Okay. 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 Thank you for shedding light on that. And then my next question, you've even covered my next question already, because I was going to ask about the average salary, because people
yeah,
want to know, but then you've spoken about that. So
the average
yeah.
salary for people is between, I would say, between 130 from what I've seen students earn. It's different from what you see online. I would say
Online.
130 to 50, 250 Czech crowns, even 300 Czech crowns per hour. But on an average, it's between 130 to 200 on an average. Then if you get a place where they pay you well, you should
Mm-hmm.
earn 200 to 20 to 250 to 300 and above, depending also on your skill set and your
Oh,
experience.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, 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 okay. So now let's talk about the student is done with school.
Mm-hmm.
After you graduate, is there a possibility for you to remain in Czech Republic? And you know,
Like
if
how long
there's
they
maybe the person just wants to remain, work, and just remain in Czech after graduation, is that possible? And do you know anything about the process for that?
Well, I think that after studying, you get 9 months to stay back
Okay,
and find a job.
a job.
But say you already have a full time job in Czech,
Mm-hmm.
as a student in Czech Republic, you already have a full time job. You can go switch your visa to
Okay, work
unemployed
permit.
or employment,
Okay.
like a work permit visa. But the
Mm-hmm.
process, I'm not really so certain.
Certain.
But
Okay.
I know for a fact that it's not so difficult
Difficult.
like
Okay.
some other
Okay.
countries where the employer has to be the one to do so many things before you can even do it. So I think it's
Mm-hmm.
something you can initiate if you already found a full-time job, right? After studying. So you get 9 months to stay back
Mm-hmm.
and get a job
Mm-hmm.
after your program, or you get a
Mm-hmm.
full-time job and you switch your visa. But after
Okay.
studying, you don't have to come back. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people stay back. Like people stay back. So it's
Back.
not
Okay.
compulsory. You can decide to leave Czech Republic and go somewhere else. So it's not that you have to leave after studying. No, it's not like that. You get an opportunity to stay back.
Okay. 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 Then my last but two questions.
Mm.
What is the process for, we've spoken about the fact that a person can stay back, but then do you have any idea regarding the PR process, permanent residency process
Yeah.
in Czech Republic? Because in some countries around the EU, it's 5 years and all of that. Do you have a bit of an idea regarding that?
Well, for Czech Republic, it depends. As a student, if you were to remain a student in Czech Republic, for every year you study, it's not a full year. So say
Okay.
you have a 4-year program, it's towards your stay in the process of obtaining your permanent residency. It's not counted as a 4-year program. It's counted as it's a 4-year program, but it's not counted as 4 years in duration. For the purpose, it's counted as 2 years.
3 years. Okay.
2 years, it's 1 year, and
Okay.
it goes like that. So it's halved.
Calculation. Okay.
So you need 5 years for a PRU journey, and you do a
Mm-hmm.
master of 2 years. That's 1 year. So it means you
Yeah.
have to obtain a work permit and work for another 4 years
Oh
to
yeah.
add 1 year to make it
Mm.
5 years to
Five
apply
years.
PRU. So some people, after staying 5 years, they renew their PRU. They don't
Mm-hmm.
apply for citizenship. But after staying for 5 years on a PRU, you stay for an
Mm-hmm.
extra 5 years. I think some people, even before that 5 years elapsed, they start applying for citizenship. But citizenship process requires that you can speak, you understand the Czech language, you can write, you can speak, and you do the
Mm-hmm.
exam and pass the language exam.
Language
Then
again.
but what most people do, because some people don't want to learn the language, is to just keep
Mm-hmm.
renewing their permanent residency. But
Mm.
if you remain a student, you know that
Mm-hmm.
definitely the routes to get your PRU will not be 5 years, it will be 10
Five.
years.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
If you whatever you study, be it 4 years, be it 6 years, just half it, and then you need to work for the remaining number of years to go
Yes.
to a
Okay.
PRU process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Thank you for shedding light on that, because sometimes you can just think it's just that 5 years and then you're done
Mm.
with that. Okay.
Yeah, I
So
get.
what would be your advice, your final words, what would be your advice to anyone looking to move to Czech for studies? What would you like to tell them?
For me, I just think that coming to Europe requires a lot of patience.
Mm.
Patience with the admission process, patience with the visa process. But
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have that patience as a person, then don't try Czech Republic, because
Mm.
Czech Republic, the entire process needs you to just be patient. It will test you, it will frustrate you, it will
Mm.
annoy you. So in
Mm.
a lot of patience. If you are the type that you cannot be patient, then I would also advise that don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Okay.
Czech Republic is getting crazy now, just to be honest and put it out there. So the entire process for non-EU citizens is
Mm-hmm.
getting crazy. So always have a plan B
Yeah.
somewhere. And
Okay.
apply, if you insist on Czech Republic, apply early. The
Mm-hmm.
earlier you apply, the better for you. If your admission comes out early, it means you have more time to be looking for your visa appointment
Yes.
date.
Okay.
So, if you would be coming abroad, like come to Czech Republic, come without any biases.
Mm.
Like forget
Mm.
what people are saying online, offline. Forget what people are saying about Europe, about the country. It's a small country in Eastern Europe. They say it's in Central Europe, but I always say it's in like Eastern Europe.
Mm.
For me, I see it like an Eastern European country. It's not
Mm.
exactly at the middle, but it shares border with other great countries like Germany, Bratislava, Austria.
Mm.
Uh, so you can go basically anywhere. The visa is good, and the
Mm.
country is better than most Eastern countries. So
Mm.
without any biases in your mind, that way you will be able to make something of yourself when you get here. You,
Yeah.
you can you can immerse yourself in the culture, in
Mm-hmm.
your studies. You can
Mm-hmm.
immerse yourself in the lifestyle here without biases. But when you have biases, to be difficult for you to mingle with people, mingle with the locals, mingle
Mm-hmm.
with faculty members who are non Africans or who are Europeans.
Yes. Yeah.
So for me, I think that coming to Czech Republic without any biases helps you to acclimatize your mental psyche to the new system you are finding yourself in terms of the currency, the language, the culture, and
And
the
all of
environment.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Thank you so much for that. Thank you for coming on, guys. There is a way that you can always be able to reach out to Bola. So I'm going to allow her to give her details so that she has a YouTube channel, and that of Instagram as well. So please give them your details.
My YouTube channel is my full name, Bola Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
That's Harrison with double R. And my Instagram handle is also Bola Harrison. My Twitter handle is Bola Harrison, but I think there's an underscore before. My TikTok, everything is Bola Harrison.
Listen.
So it makes everything easier. So yeah, you can check out my channel. I've posted a lot of content about that as well, and also my social media. If you need
Media
any question,
assistance
not
or
really
anything.
question, but if you need any clarification or some things that were not clear to you, you can reach out to social media, and then I can respond.
And
Yeah.
okay,
Thank you.
So, guys, I'm going to leave her details as well in the video description so that you can quickly reach out to her. So that is
No
it for
problem.
today's session. Thank you guys for joining us. Bye.